Hello everybody, Ben Woodruff here with another Falconry video. It's a beautiful fall day today. It's late September, and it's been a great time of year because my birds are finishing molting. They've been growing new feathers all summer. They're almost done. I've started to cut down their weight and re-socialize them, and it's just starting to get into the beginning of true falconry season. I appreciate everybody supporting my channel. I'm working on a huge number of videos right now, and a lot of them I just need some very specific shots to finalize, and stay tuned for the rest of those. But I wanted to do this topic today because I think it's very pertinent this time of year when a lot of people are getting new birds. I see a lot of people trapping a passage bird for the first time, or maybe getting a bird from a breeder, and they're starting to work with them. And I want to talk about respecting the intelligence of a bird of prey. This is a little more nuanced than you think, and it's easy to gloss over and forget about, and we shouldn't do that. So, anybody who knows me personally in falconry, I'm a strong advocate of not over-humanizing animals. We have a habit, and I'm gonna flip on you in a second here, but normally you'll hear me ranting, the needs of an individual animal of any species, not just birds of prey, are not the same as a human. It drives me crazy. There's an aquarium near my house, and people are like, oh, the enclosure that giant octopus is in is too small. The happiest an octopus is like, oh, I'm hiding in a crevice. Look at this. I'm hiding. Oh, I'm secure. They're not. If you put a 10 trillion gallon aquarium and just had an octopus loose in it, they would stress and freak out. Same thing we know that with birds of prey. The different birds of prey have different needs. Some like to be out in the open, some like to be forested. Even look in the wild. If you're driving around and even as a bird watcher, or a falconer, trapping a bird, whatever, if you're looking out there, notice that eagles and bootios, like red-tailed hawk, are typically on top of a pole. And they're typically, look at me, I am an eagle, I am surveying my territory, I am a mighty hawk, a red-tailed hawk. That's what they do. Compare that to a falcon. Normally, if you see a prairie falcon or a peregrine falcon, they will hunt from the top of a pole. But if they're not hunting and they're just chilling, looking around, then what they'll usually do is they'll say, okay, here's a pole, here's the crossbar, and they will be on the crossbar tucked up, just snuggled in again. Ooh, that's where they want to be. They have different needs. And so people project humanness on animals. And it's not healthy. It's understandable. It's normal. It is a very human thing to do. We anthropomorphize and humanize animals. And the cuter they are, the more we love them and sympathize with them. It's interesting the attitudes people have because of that. I remember one time walking up to a goshawk nest, and there was a lady in front of me. We were walking up a trail, and she passes by a fisherman, a fly fisherman, who was reeling in a fish and caught a fish. She looks over, she's like, oh, well done, what a nice catch. She goes about another quarter of a mile and ahead, and she sees somebody who was a bow hunter, hunting for deer, unsuccessful, coming back. So they're in camos, bow, no dead animal. And she's like, I think you're terrible that you would ever think to harm an animal. And I'm like, you didn't care about a guy pulling in a fish. You didn't care about that because it's scaly, it's cold-blooded, and it's slimy. But if it's like, oh, a deer is a cute animal. So I'm not ripping on that lady. I'm just saying, as humans, the more something is like us, the more we relate to it. But then we do the opposite, where we project onto animals. I have a background in biology, so any life form, not just animals, but anything, plants, microorganisms, anything. I'm used to taking a look and trying to understand this life form from its perspective towards me. Not, oh, how human is it? I'm guilty of making mistakes on understanding animals too. In my early years, I always used to go on and on about how stupid owls are. Because when you work with a falcon, a hawk, or an eagle, they're so sharp-minded, and what are we doing? Are we hunting? You wanted me to kill that? Yes. Where owls are kind of like, and I'm like, oh, they're stupid. No, they're smart in different ways. They're keyed into hearing, and they're focusing on hearing and ignoring any visual stimulus that's unimportant or unalarming to them. Intelligence can be very different. In my line of work, I work with a wide range of birds: parrots, kookaburras, hornbills, turacos, as well as birds of prey. So it's interesting to compare. When you see a parrot, it's very easy to see their intelligence. They learn to speak our language, and you don't have to teach them as a trick. They watch us interacting and figure out what meanings mean and what the symbolic nature of words are. And so it's really easy on something like that to understand, oh, they're smart. They're speaking my language. Me, I'm so wonderful. They learned my language, the correct language. No, there's all different languages. That's beyond brilliant to learn another life form's language and interact with them. But the emotional needs and the respect for intelligence that we have really needs to be there for our birds of prey. So even though I rant about, oh, let's not overhumanize what happens out in nature. They're different. They have their own way of thinking, but we need to respect that way of thinking. So here's a really common pitfall. Let's say I'm in the United States. In the United States, you have to have licenses to become a falconer, and you study. So you're reading books, or now you're more on the internet. I feel so old that I've got my library of falconry books that I studied. Anyways, you're studying, reading. You're looking at pictures, looking at images, looking at videos of traditional falconry, traditional equipment, traditional training techniques that have been honed in for literally thousands of years. And you get a sense, this is what a bird should do. If you do this, they should do this. If you do this, they should do this. And in doing so, then when you start to work with a bird and that bird is not doing that behavior or responding to that training, it's easy to get frustrated and be like, what's wrong with you? And the bird's like, you need to remember, that bird has never heard of falconry, has no clue what it is. It's never read a falconry book. It's never, I'm watching YouTube videos about falconry. Oh, look what that goshawk's doing. Maybe I'll do that. They're not thinking that. They're just, okay? The miracle of falconry is the coming of minds. The fact that a wild, powerful, yet delicate, intelligent, but intelligent in a different way, raptor, and you, a human, don't speak the same language. They're not a parrot. Don't speak the same language, could have that you could orchestrate situations out of respect and reward, never discipline, where, that's what we're doing. So it's vital to respect the intelligence of a bird and always remember that they have no clue what falconry is. They have not read those books. They have not seen those YouTube videos. You have to have respect for that. And that may take patience, and have respect for the individual. As my birds right now are finishing up their molts, most of my birds, my normal procedure is to fatten them up, give them a nice bath pan, and maybe give them a block of ice to sit on should they choose during the hot summer months, and just let them relax, just let them chill. And during that time, the relationship wanes between myself and them. This is very much like with a human. You may have a very dear friend, and maybe you kind of, over some time, you kind of lose contact. It's the same way. Some friends, you just match up. I've got a Harris hawk that doesn't matter. If I haven't seen her in 20 years, if I picked her up, she'd be like, hello, what are we doing? But most of the birds, even if they recognize you, even if they're seeing you briefly every day, you have to reestablish that relationship and build a powerful relationship of trust and build a relationship of familiarity. Those are two separate things. The falconry training techniques that are traditional are built to build trust. You can have a bird that's totally unfamiliar with you and has trust that they've learned around food. He will not kill me and take my food. In fact, he may even give me food. They understand that because you've trained them. But familiarity, the best thing to do is just countless hours holding your bird. Watch TV, invite some friends over, put them on the couch next to you, sit your bird on your arm, talk, and let the bird just get used to your big, fat mammal head next to them. Like, think about that. Your head weighs more than your bird. Hello, bird. I mean, we're an intense thing to be around a raptor. They're not wired to be hanging out with humans, and we're asking them to. So seriously, respect that intelligence and hold them as much as you can. Not just, well, it's time to fly. I'm going to put a hood on them, going to put them in the vehicle, drive out to the field, take the hood off. All right. We're going to go hunt some rabbits. Go get something. All right, good, you got it. Feet up. All right. Who'd you go home? You have, just like with humans, just like with friendships or even with romantic relationships, it takes time to build that trust. And when you've had time apart, it takes time together to reestablish that familiarity to where it's totally normal to be around them. You've seen, if you watch the rest of my channel, you've seen I have videos on how to get birds to be, better about hooding, or better when they're on a kill or on the lure to not mantle or not feel so stressed. It's all true. But you know what? Those techniques are great. All of those techniques will be way faster and way more successful if you spend a lot of time just holding your bird and being respectful. Not, I'm moving you around. A bird has consciousness. It's its own life form. It is thinking. It is observing. It is taking in sound. It is taking in sight. It has its own set of emotional reactions. And fear is one of them. There's a falconer in Utah that told me years ago when I was a young lad, and he said, most falconers do not respect that these birds have fear. That they genuinely can be afraid or nervous. Even a new person, a well-trained falconry bird that knows you, you've worked together for several years, and maybe they end up, you give them to another falconer. Well, here's your bird, there you go. It's like, this is a new circumstances. This is a new environment. This is a new human or a set of humans they're having to be around, and that can be scary. Legitimately. Maybe not like terrifying, but that is asking a lot of them. So always remember to be aware and respectful of the intelligence of your bird and the fact that your bird is an individual. When you go to hood them, when a training technique, when there's a misunderstanding, it's no different than in a relationship at work with a good friend, or even in a romantic relationship. There are misunderstandings. Your bird's like, I don't know, I'm training this falcon to go up, and they circle up, and they go downwind, and you're like, you stupid bird, you were supposed to go upwind. They don't know that, or they forgot that, or they didn't understand. There was a misunderstanding between the two of you having a coming together of minds. So be patient with your bird. Respect them, and you'll always have a better relationship. And again, I could tell you training techniques all day long, but genuinely, the more time you can spend in the presence of your bird on a perch right close to you or holding them, the safer they're going to feel with you and the more familiar they're going to feel with you, and that they know this person is part of my life, I'm part of theirs. So I hope some of these thoughts will get you thinking. I know I'm going on and on this one. This is more of referring, of course, to just philosophy, but it's very applicable. And I think it's a better way to approach your bird rather than, I, the mighty human, own this bird. It's like, well, don't view it that way. View it as you and another life form are going to work together, try to understand each other, coming from different understandings, different languages, and try to have a coming of mind, and always respect that intelligence, and always show patience with your bird and with yourself. Hope this video is useful to you. Please check out my other videos on my Falconry playlist on this channel, and hit like and subscribe. It really helps me grow the channel. And again, in coming months, we're just getting into the hunting season, so look forward to a wide range of videos coming up in the coming months. Thank you so much, and as always, happy hawking.